Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna do my December wrap-up, take 2. The first one took too long, and honestly, a lot of these books were short, so I don't know why I talk so much. So let's just do this. I participated in 2 readathons, the Tinsels and Tales readathon and the Old Fashioned readathon. I will link everyone who is part of those readathons in the description below to save time from saying all the names. There's a lot of books. I'm also just not gonna really talk about what goes with each prompt because I read so much in the end that honestly, you guys can just decide what goes with each prompt. Because after a while, I was sick and I just kind of got sick of trying to categorize them because there were so many prompts and I just was on a roll because I was sick in bed. Anyway, the first thing I read was the group read for the Vintage Christmas Readathon. It was Miracle on 34th Street. I gave this one 4 stars. It was okay. I liked the movies more than the book. Both versions of the movies. I think what brought it down for me was that, like, the book, because we got Kris Kringle's perspective, took away the magic. So, like, in the movies, you could kind of see, like, at the end of the 1947 versions, that the cane was in the new house that was going to be Susan's new house. And you kind of wonder, could that be Santa? But I don't know, because we got into Kris Kringle's mind and we saw him scheming. It just didn't feel good. Like, magical in that way. It just felt like he was manipulating her a little bit. And I just didn't like it very much. And just, I don't know, the way he disappeared to get Doris and Uncle Fred to go looking for him. I was like, ew, you suck. I don't know. Maybe I was just sick and Scroogey, but I did not get that magical sense that I get from the movies. Then to get into the nostalgia, I decided to read the Little House series. I listened to the Cherry Jones audio versions. I'd never listened to them before, and I love them, so I'm gonna do like a sort of a review of the books again. I did it 2 years ago, but yeah, I've been taking notes of my reread, so I might do it again in February. So I'll just not talk about those, really. Except to say that I gave them between 4 and 5 stars. So I read all of those. So for my old-fashioned Christmas reads. I actually stopped at The Long Winter. That was the last one I read, but I might reread it because I was sick. Really sick when I was reading that one, and I didn't enjoy it as much because I had a headache. So I want to enjoy it. Then I read The Christmas Bus by Melody Carlson. I gave this one 3 stars. I heard about this from Kelly Reads a Lot. This is about a minister and his wife. I don't remember if it was a preacher, minister, whatever, but it was so long ago. Maybe the fever took away the memory. But they all think that the preacher in Christmas Valley should retire, and that he's too old and old-fashioned, and he does like the sermon on helping others during the holiday season and whatever. So his wife decides to open their house to guests again, because it used to be like an inn, and this like really crotchety, mean old lady ends up moving in among other people, and she was just terrible, and I gave it 3 stars because even when, like, by the end, she does something for this young couple who are, like, living on a bus in the driveway of the house because there's no more room at the inn. She does something for them, and we're supposed to get the warm fuzzies, but she was so terrible throughout the entire book that I did not feel the warm fuzzies I was supposed to feel. I still disliked her, and I didn't get that feeling. So, yeah, 3 stars. Then I DNF'd Dear Santa by Debbie Macomber. I have to say, my Debbie Macomber streak is terrible this year. But this is about, I heard about this from Chloe, so probably one of the first Chloe books I DNF'd. But yeah, it's about Lindy Carmichael. her boyfriend cheated on her with her best friend, and she goes home for Christmas to lick her wounds. And Lindy's mother remembers her old Santa letters, so she has her read her old Santa letters, and then she tells her to write one and make a wish. And I thought it was gonna be fun, but it's so not, because it was just, she runs into this old, like, former classmate that she supposedly had a crush on her, and it was just icky. I did not like him very much. And really what was the last straw was that she tells him that in one of her Santa letters, she had written to Santa asking him to get him to move away. And he's like really upset because that was when his parents divorced, and then she's feeling guilty. And I'm like, okay, I am not going to spend this book agonizing because you feel guilty over a letter you wrote when you were 7. You did not make his parents split. This is not going to be the thing that gets you together. No. Anyway, then I read Christmas at Rosie Hopkins' Sweet Shop by Jenny Colgan. I gave this one 4 stars. It was a sequel to Rosie Hopkins' Sweet Shop of Dreams. I love the first one and I love the second one, but I DNF'd the third one, which is the Christmas surprise. It went a little haywire after that, so no. Then I read A Winter by the Sea by Julie Clausen. I gave it 5 stars. I loved this one. Probably not as much as Sisters of Seaview, but I loved it anyway. And we get a little bit more into Emily. I did feel like Emily was kind of wishy-washy and kind of leading some guys on, but, you know, it was still a good read. Then I read the entire Christmas Tree Farm series, so that counts as Christmas mystery for both readathons. So we have 12 Slaves of Christmas by Jacqueline Frost. All of them got between 3 and 4 stars. I think only one got 3 stars, but I love them all. In this first one, I heard about these from Paperbacks and Ponytails, but honestly, everybody's reading them. Book Lover Amanda is also was reading them this year. But I think Katie just told me about the first one. So the first one is about Holly White. Her fiance cancels their wedding, and she goes home to the Christmas Tree Farm, and a murder happens, and it goes from there. There's a romance with the sheriff. It's a whole thing. They're really fun. It's got a great Christmas ambiance. The farm is called Reindeer Games, so there's like lots of games, and there's blindfolded sledding and blindfolded gingerbread making. It's really funny. It just got a whole ambiance, and I just had to read them all. Then I read The Nutcracker and the Mouse King. I gave it 5 stars, but I have to say, the Nutcracker is a little terrifying. That Mouse King ain't no joke, and the squeaky voice that is used for him in the audio is creepy. Not a fan. I mean, I liked it, but I liked it enough to give it 5 stars, but it was scary. So why is this people's favorite dance again? Then I read From the Heart, Guiding Emily number 5. I gave this 5 stars. It just came out on audio last month, so I was super excited to get to it. Then I DNF. Oh, I talked about that. I'm trying to skip past books that I kind of already went over. Okay, next I read A Plain and Fancy Christmas by Cynthia Keller. I gave this 5 stars. This is about 2 women who were switched at birth. Rachel is the Amish one, and what's her name? The other one, she has a daughter, Katie, and Ellie Lawrence is the one from New York, and they find out they were switched at birth. So they both kind of go to see what their birth family's like, and it gets complicated because Rachel's already baptized into the Amish community. So Ellie can fit into the Amish community just fine because no one expects her to be Amish, and she can just come and go as she pleases and visit or whatever. But Rachel gets a lot of crap for it because, she's going to New York and becoming a big city girl, and you kind of see the unfairness in the Amish in a way, because Ellie was able to do whatever she wanted, but like Rachel, if she has any curiosity or if she likes some of the life that her New York family has, she can't like it because she'll lose her entire family. So, you know, it was just a difficult read. And then Rachel also has Katie, who is like full-fledged Amish, and it was really hard for her to go and live in New York for a while, which is pretty much what they did. They did like a house swap. So that was wild. Then we have The Christmas Book Hunt by Jenny Colgan. This was an unexpected read, a little novella in the Christmas Bookshop series. This is about Mirren's great aunt Violet is dying, and her one Christmas wish is to be reunited with a long-lost hand-illustrated book. And so Mirren goes on a book hunt to find the book, and this guy, I think his name is Theo, he is also looking for this book for different reasons. And yeah, it's kind of all about her hunting for this book and finding love along the way. And it was really cheesy, and I loved it. Then I read An Amish Christmas by Cynthia Keller. I did not like this one as much as I liked A Plain and Fancy Christmas. This one was about a family who lost their money, and like the dad pretty much bet all their savings away or something. He did something stupid, and as a result, they don't have a house, they don't have anything. And so they're on their way to beg for her parents to take them all in, the wife's parents, and they end up getting in an accident and end up having to stay with an Amish community, and the kids are monsters because, I mean, they're already like suffering because you know, their parents are about to split, they lost their home and everything, and all of a sudden they're expected to live Amish for a few days or not have internet. And I don't know. It was really hard for me to care about these kids' feelings because they were such brats. And so I gave it 3 stars. Then I read The Christmas Tree Farm by Melody Carlson. Another 3-star. This is the newest Melody Carlson book. I did not have good luck with Melody Carlson this year. But this one was about Madison McDowell. She returns home after several years teaching overseas to her Christmas tree farm. She wants to kind of pick up where she left off, but her sister, Addie, is not interested in expanding the farm or anything like that. She wants it to end. And I know I'm supposed to be on Madison's side, but I was really on Addie's side because Madison was just insufferable. Like, she gets to just come home and we're all supposed to be all happy that you're back, and because you were doing good works and stuff when you left your sister to deal with your dying father and I think grandmother too. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. And again, that's not how the story went because the bad guy ended up being Addie. But I was still kind of on her side because I was like, you know, you don't really deserve that happy ending you want so badly. So it was just, I don't know. I felt more for her. And also just, they were fighting over the same guy. And I understand why the guy was more suited to Madison. And ultimately he should be with Madison. But it was just really annoying that she was like almost lying to her sister when her sister was like, are you with him? And she'd be like, no. But then she'd get mad at her for like pursuing him. And it's like, well, the guy was living next door to her first. It was just annoying. And then his daughter wanted to like start a dirt bike park and she didn't like that. So that was the only thing kind of holding them apart. I don't know. It was just a difficult read. And I didn't like it as much as others. Then I read, actually read 2 different Amish Christmas short story series. The first one was a Lancaster Amish Christmas. I gave it some 4 stars. My favorite of the stories was Lucy's Christmas Sunbeam by Anne Blackburn. It's about Lucy, and she steps up to take care of her sister with Down syndrome. and she falls in love with like he works in a, I can't think of the word, hardware store. I was gonna say Home Depot. But it's not Home Depot. But yeah. And then there's other stories by other authors that are really good in that anthology. I enjoyed it. Then I read Apple Cider Slaying, Apple Cider Shop Mystery Book #1 by Julie Ann Lindsay. I gave this 3 stars. It's about Winnie and her grandma Smythe and their apple orchard, and this woman ends up dead in the apple press, and it kind of goes from there. There's a romance with the sheriff again in this one, but I just was not a fan. I didn't not really like the sheriff very much. I don't know. I didn't like it as much as the Christmas Tree Farm series. And I hear this is the same author, just that with a different pen name. I don't know. I don't think I'll read the rest of them. I just wasn't interested. Wasn't interested in it as much. Then I read The Christmas You Found Me by Sarah Morgenthaler. I gave this 5 stars. I heard about this from the Literally Reading podcast, and then I heard about it. I heard that Storm from Storm Reads read it. This is a series, apparently. Heart of the Wilderness, #1. So I don't know what book 2 will be when it comes out. But this is about Sienna. She's just gotten a divorce, and her friend Jess does a joke. Like, she plays a joke on her. She puts, like, an ad in the newspaper saying she's advertising for a husband for hire. Just to pretty much make her ex mad. Because they both still live in the small town, so she would just like pressing his buttons. And then this guy, well, actually his name is Guy. Guy Naples walks in, taking the ad seriously because he needs medical insurance for his daughter, who has stage 5 kidney disease, and needs a transplant. So, Marriage of Convenience, it was a great read. It made me bawl my eyes out. Emma, the 4-year-old little girl, is so cute. I loved it. Then I read The Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Barbara Robinson. It was funny, but I don't know. I gave it 5 stars just because of the, it was funny, but it wasn't like the best thing I ever read either. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch the movie. Then I DNF The Book Club Hotel by Sarah Morgan. I just wasn't into it. I can't really say much more than that. It should be something I would be into. Maybe I'll like it more next year. And I was just too sick to enjoy it. I don't know. Then I read The Christmas Swap by Melody Carlson. I gave it 4 stars. 2 families swap homes. But the guy kind of gets trapped there and can't leave and falls in love with the girl, Emma. Actually, Emma's kind of the tag-along in the family, because her friend's family are the rich ones who are vacationing in this guy's home. And so there's another fight over the guy. I did not like Emma's friend. But I did enjoy Emma and her musician guy, and yeah, it was an okay read. It was probably the most I enjoyed Melody Carlson this year. Then I read some Debbie Maycomer. I read the first 4 Angel books. The first 2 were rereads, but I wanted to listen to the CDs that I bought last year. So I gave A Season of Angels 5 stars. It was my favorite of the 4, actually. And it's the first one in the series. I loved Shirley, Goodness, and Mercy. And yeah, in this one we have 3. In this first one we have Timmy Potter, who wants a dad, and his mother's widowed. Then Monica wants a husband, and she ends up meeting someone you think is really unsuitable, but he kind of isn't. And then Leah wants a baby, and yeah, you can imagine how that turns out. I did not love The Trouble with Angels as much. I gave it 2 stars. It was just, ew. I don't like guys who think they're full of themselves. And there was 2 guys in this book who I just detested. that they were matched up with. So one of the situations, we have the 12-year-old girl named Karen, who is kind of stuck between her warring divorced parents, and the guy that they set Karen's mom up with. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but he was just so annoying. I don't like guys who are like, you know, you want to kiss me, or let yourself love me. You know, like, I don't know. I don't like pushy guys. So he was annoying. If I want to hold a grudge until the day I die, let me. I know she was supposed to get over her grudge, and I get why she had to get over her grudge for her kid. But there was just something about him pushing that was annoying. And then the other one was, the other situation I didn't really like was this old woman. She wanted her grandson to find love, and her grandson was kind of a jerk and like flirting with the coordinator at her assisted living place while at the same time having a girlfriend. So I did not like that. And then there was a grieving priest in that one too. So yeah. That was not great. I'm looking for the last Angel book. I'm trying to do them together to get them done that way as a series. Touched by Angels I gave this one 3 stars. This is a new read. They're in New York. Really, I gave it 3 stars because I like the teacher in the book. The other 2 love interests I could have done without. 2 cocky guys. So yeah, 3 stars. And then the last one was a novella. And I gave it 5 stars. It was Surely Goodness and Mercy. And I love that one. I gave it 5 stars. They all have like a joint job with this guy who's kind of a jerk. I mean, he's a real jerk. And it's to the point that it tests the Angels' patience, even to the point where they're like swearing, which is hilarious. One of them almost swears. So it was funny. So I give that one 5 stars because I liked the fact that he didn't, because one of his biggest sins was that he like left this girl pregnant, and he was trying to reunite with his son, but it didn't happen, and I'm glad it didn't happen in his redemption arc, because I think something should have just stayed not perfect for him. I think she's getting into her stride with these books by then, because I'm liking them more as the series goes on. So, yeah. Okay, that's enough of the series. Then I read The Last Christmas in Paris by Hazel Gaynor and Heather Webb. 5 stars. I heard about this one from everybody. Gloria from Gloria Z. Thompson. Cheryl from Kennewick Library. Everybody's talking about this one. Anne from In Search of Wonder recommended it for Epistolary January. I should have waited for that. Kelly, too, I think. And Kelly reads a lot. But yeah, it's about Evie Elliott. Her brother and her brother's friend go off to war, and it's about her letters to Thomas over the years of war. There's not much Christmas, but, you know, you cry at the end. Then we have A Quilt for Christmas by Sandra Dallas. I give this 4 stars. I saw this on Lizzie Faye Loves Books' Goodreads Christmas folder, so I read it. It's about Eliza Spooner. This is during the Civil War, and her husband Will is at war fighting against the Confederates, and she makes him a quilt. So this one's kind of, I guess this one would go for the gift prompt for one of the readathons. And yeah, her husband dies, and she takes in another war widow, and they form a quilting club with other women who are waiting for their husbands to come home. And yeah, they also help a slave. So it's definitely not your average Christmas read. Then I read An Amish Second Christmas, another anthology of Amish short stories. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't like the stories as much. Then Then I read Holiday by Gaslight by Mimi Matthews. I gave it 5 stars. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I loved it. This Regency era thing. It's about Sophie Aberset and Ned. She's willing to marry to help her family because, he's kind of wealthy, but they're not getting along, and she breaks up with him, and then her dad gets mad at her, so she decides to give him another chance. And, she's like, you need to be real with me. We need to really get to know each other, not this fake stuff. And it's a really good romance. I loved it a lot more than I thought I would, because I don't like cranky guys generally, but I loved this couple. It was fun. So yeah. Then I read Catching Christmas by Terry Blackstock. I gave this 5 stars. Everybody loves this book, and I thought I wouldn't because this is about a matchmaking grandma, but I loved it. So we have Sydney Batson. She's a workaholic, and her grandmother is ill while she's in court. So Sydney arranges for a cab to get her to the clinic, and Finn Parrish is her driver, the grandma's driver, and the grandma is kind of out of it. Like, she doesn't have a really good memory, and so he has to help her a lot, and it's mostly their relationship. She's trying to set her daughter up with everyone because she doesn't want her to be lonely when she dies. That's the matchmaking of it. So I thought that I wouldn't like it because I don't really like manipulative matchmaking or anything like that. But this grandma was so irreverent and funny that it was hilarious. And by the time the romance did happen, I wasn't minding it at all, because it wasn't really the point of the story, I don't think. In the end, it made me cry, so yeah. Then I read The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. I gave it 4 stars. This is like a Christmas Carol retelling. Holly Chase gets visited by the ghosts, doesn't listen, and ends up dying, and she basically ends up in like Scrooge Incorporated or whatever, where she has to help other lost souls not to die. There's a Scrooge every year. And the funny thing is, I liked it, and not even necessarily because I wanted her to mend her ways. I weirdly found her snarky and kind of meanness endearing. So I didn't really want her to change too much. I was glad at how it ended, but I just found her so funny. Then I read Winterfrost by Michelle Hautz. I gave this one 4 stars. Heard about this one from Krista from Books and Jams. This is a Danish fairy tale or Danish fantasy. 12-year-old Bettina, her parents have been called away, and she's in charge of her baby sister Pia. And they forget to set out the traditional bowls of Christmas rice pudding for the Nisi, who are rumored to look after the family and their livestock. And when they don't get their rice pudding, they get a little mischievous. So Pia gets kidnapped, and she has to rescue Pia. That was a good read. Kids book. Kind of fun. Then I read Nutcracked by Susan Adrian. I gave this 4 stars. I heard about this one from Keisha from A Book Like You. This is about Georgie, who gets to be Clara in the Nutcracker. But every time she holds the Nutcracker, she ends up in the Nutcracker play itself, and having to fight the Mouse King. And she has a sort of a friend who is a boy who helps her out later. There's a hint that they're going to get together, but nothing really happens. So it's fine in my opinion. Then I read Christmas at the Lord's by Hannah Langdon. I gave this 5 stars. This family is hilarious. Penny Windlesham, she breaks up with her boyfriend breaks up with her after 10 years of a relationship. She hears about a nanny advertisement for the Lord family. So she goes to help out. They have adorable twins. It is really funny. The whole family is insanely quirky, and I love them all, including the cranky uncle who is the love interest. I mean, it was hilarious. Yeah, I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. And I gave Christmas of the Nights, which is the sequel, 4 stars. I didn't like it as much as Christmas of the Lords, but I also think you can read them separately. They don't have to be together. Christmas of the Nights was about, well, Fallon is the leading lady in that one, and she ends up going with her mother after having a breakdown at work. Her mother's an actress who is dating this guy in the Knight family, and she ends up going to their house for Christmas, and she falls in love with his son, and his son is a single, like, her future stepfather's son. She falls in love with him. And he's a single dad, so she is kind of afraid she can't be a mom. So kind of goes from there. Because her mom kind of neglected her while she was being an actress. I don't know. Anyway, it was a good read. I like Christmas of the Lords better, though. They were more quirky and funny. I also read Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. I thought I would like this. Hated it. 2 stars. I kind of already ranted and raved about it in my worst books of 2024. So I'm not going to talk about it again. And I'm also not going to talk about Christmas with the Queen for the same reason. So we will end on Promise Me by Richard Paul Evans, which I gave 5 stars purely for nostalgia's sake, because it was a reread, and I'll let Kelly tell you about it in her wrap-up. I'm curious to know what she really thinks of this book. I suggested it because she'd never heard of it. But basically, I'll read the description. As you read my story, there is something I want you to understand. That in spite of all the pain, past, present, and that's still to come, I wouldn't have done anything differently. Nor would I trade the time I had with him for anything, except for what in the end I traded it for. Beth Cardle has a secret. For 18 years, she has had no choice but to keep it to herself. But on Christmas Eve 2008, all that is about to change. For Beth, 1989 was a year marked by tragedy. Her life was falling apart. Her 6-year-old daughter, Charlotte, was suffering from an unidentifiable illness. Her marriage transformed from a seemingly happy and loving relationship to one full of betrayal and pain. Her job at the dry cleaners was increasingly at risk, and she had lost any ability to trust, to hope, or to believe in herself. Then on Christmas Day, as she rushed through a blizzard to the nearest 7-Eleven, Beth encounters Matthew, a strikingly handsome, mysterious stranger who would single-handedly change the course of her life. Who is this man, and how does he seem to know so much about her? He pursues her relentlessly, but only after she's fallen deeply in love with him does she learn his incredible secret, changing the world as she knows it, as well as her own destiny. I'm not going to tell you what that secret is, but it's wild. So, yeah, I'm going to end my wrap-up there. Hopefully this is a lot shorter than my last one, because the last one was an hour. And I have 3 more videos to make. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!
Close button. Stop recording video.